Welcome back, All Sports West New York. Bob Kaczynski with Peter Tasca, one of the producers of Almost a Dynasty, which you can see here exclusively on WBBZ-TV Friday night, 8 o'clock. And it's really going to get you all psyched up for the big Bills weekend. Of course, Andre Reed goes in Hall of Fame on Saturday. The Bills play in a Sunday night game against the Giants, which is where it all started, Super Bowl 25. So we've talked about the documentary. Let's talk about the teams. Okay. I was there. I was covering the teams. I'm not in the documentary. We were talking about maybe editing me into that. But I was there for that Super Bowl run. That first team, that was when the no-huddle offense really started to click. They had discovered it near the end of the '89 season, especially in the playoff game against the Cleveland Browns that they lost at the very end of the game. But that team peaked at just the right time, probably one game too soon. What they did to the Raiders here in the frosty conditions at Rich Stadium, I think most of us thought, I know from the media, we all thought, to beat the Giants on the biggest stage, they'd already beaten them in the Meadowlands. It was a no-brainer.
Absolutely. I can't overstate how even talking about it all these years later, for me, again, just one representative fan of the diehard Bills Nation, how that loss still affects me emotionally. You just kind of describing it the way that it was. And I wasn't at the game. We were watching it, a group of friends. We had a Super Bowl party. And just like everybody else, we couldn't have been more jacked up for that game. And we thought it was a no-brainer after beating the Raiders the way we did at home and just ran over them. And I believe it was the 49ers that the Giants beat in the NFC Championship.
Yeah, which was an upset in itself.
Exactly. Right. No one expected it. Jeff Hostetler was the quarterback. Right. I mean, everything seemed to align for us in that game. And as much as we love, well, I shouldn't say we, I'll only say me. As much as I love Marv Levy and the coaching staff and everything that surrounded that team, especially that first year, that was our Super Bowl. That was the year. If we were going to win one of those four, that was the one, because we were the best team in football that year, bar none. But we got outcoached.
Well, to me, everybody gives Belichick and the Giants defense credit for stopping the no-huddle. In my opinion, it was the Giants offense that won that game, because they kept the ball away from the Bills offense, and they converted so many critical third and longs in that series. And Hostetler, who was a backup, the Bills defense, and Mark Kelsel's talked to me about this, they absolutely were the ones who they did not play their best game at all. No. Offensively, they could have played better, but the Bills scored 20 points, or they scored 19 points in 20 minutes. They only had the ball for 20 minutes. But, as I always say, if and buts were candy nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. So they lose the first one. I believe if they'd won the first one, no way they're going back 4 years in a row. They may have won a second one. But that core group of players was so good, they obviously dominated the AFC. So now they play the second one. They're playing in Minneapolis. They're playing the Redskins, another very tough, hard-nosed NFC team. And that really was, you look at that team was really knocked up. A lot of injuries. Bruce Smith was not well. Leonard Smith didn't play in the game. Thurman Thomas can't find his helmet for the first series. That, to me, was when the monkey started to really grow on their back. The first one, they should have won. We missed a field goal. We could have won it. To lose that second one, to me, was the sense of that loss carried over, I think, more for the next three games than that first one did, me personally. Oh,
absolutely. Well, the Redskins Super Bowl, I think, is probably speaking for a lot of Bills Nation on this. We just expected to win that Super Bowl. It was almost like destiny. There's no way the Buffalo Bills could possibly go back to a second Super Bowl in a row and lose to a team that, quite honestly, was really good that year, the Redskins, but they kind of came out of nowhere that year. Right. They just emerged. Mark Rippon was the quarterback.
Right. He had the year of his career.
Yeah, and somehow, some way, they continued to flower that team, the Redskins, and we still thought it was a no-brainer, though. But we kind of got punched in the mouth right from inception in that game, the Thurman Thomas helmet situation. Who knows how that really affected the team? No one will ever know for sure, but we were honestly never in that football game, and it was quite depressing.
Yeah. Third one, that was the year that I thought they were the team of destiny to come back and beat the Oilers in the greatest comeback ever. They went and beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. They beat Miami in Miami. I mean, that, to me, seemed the year that they were absolutely do, because as you said, how do you go for 3 years in a row and lose? Nobody can lose 3 games in a row, and they lost it in style.
Yeah, they did. And, you know, again, the magic number 3, it's one of those special numbers. No way, 3 in a row can't possibly happen. Plus, it's, again, now we're dealing with another upstart team that talented in the Dallas Cowboys, of course, a lot of talent, but young, unproven, hadn't been anywhere near that stage. The Bills are 2 Super Bowls in now, and I think the game started in our favor. Did we not block
Yeah, we
a
went
punt?
ahead. Steve Tasker blocked a punt.
Right.
And we went up 7-zip.
7-zip, first quarter, it looks like we're getting ready to roll, and then it's just like the light switch went off.
Well, Ken Hall got injured, left the game. Farrat becomes the backup center. Next thing you know, Jim Kelly goes down with a serious knee injury, and it completely unraveled from there. Although Frank Reich started to bring them back. For those who remember the NFL clip, you know, the Cowboys talked on the sidelines about don't lay down, this team can come back, because they had done it to the Oilers earlier.
Right.
But they get blown out. One of the worst losses in Super Bowl history.
Horrible.
Other than Don Beebe, you know, slapping the ball out to avert a touchdown. We only got a minute left here, so real quick, the one in Atlanta, we're leading at halftime. Peter, we're up at halftime.
We're up at halftime. I know me and my friends, we had a party on the 3rd floor at Kohl's on Elmwood Avenue, and at halftime we're celebrating. We're literally we're going to win the Super Bowl. Finally it's ours. And then the fumble, and I believe he returned it back for a touchdown.
For a touchdown, tied
correct?
the game. Only tied the game.
Only tied the game, but that was it.
Right.
We were done. At that point,
Right.
the psyche was so fragile of Bills Nation, including obviously the team on the field, and it was over. It was over, and they trampled us from that point
Well,
forward.
folks, as much as what we're talking about, I'm getting depressed just sitting here talking about it, but the documentary, you feel so good after watching this documentary. Peter, your team did such a great job. What's next for Wonderful Productions?
Well, for Wonderful Film, we're developing a couple more projects. You know, currently we're not really quite there yet where we can publicly talk about it. But if you'd like to pick up the DVD, go to BuffaloBillsMovie.com. It's a wonderful film. It truly is, and it'll bring you back. And it won't make you cry in terms of the losses. It'll make you cry because you're going to be reliving the glory, and it's that fun.
And you're going to be proud, and especially with what Jim Kelly's going through, and to hear from Bill Poling and Marv Levy, and to congratulate again Andre Reed. It's just a great time to celebrate. So thanks again, tremendous job. Can't wait to see it again Friday night.
Thank you, Bob.
We'll be back. We'll be talking Nick Wallenda right after this on All Sports Western New York.